This is Britain's first major motorway project. The southern section, now under construction, starts here at Luton, where it will link up with the St Albans bypass. From Luton, the motorway will run for 55 miles across country, bypassing populated centres, to a point on the Birmingham Spur just south of Rugby. A welcome alternative to the A6 and the congested A5 with its bottlenecks and heavy commercial traffic. This, the greatest single road project ever attempted in this country, costing £16 million, marks the beginning of a big national scheme for faster trunk roads all over Britain. The motorway will have two 36-foot carriageways with 3 traffic lanes aside, a fast road designed for speed with safety. Service areas every 12 miles or so for fuelling, parking and refreshment. No crossroads, no direct intersections. The motorway will go over or under all existing roads. To do this and span all the rivers, canals and railways means building 132 bridges along the 55-mile route, 6 two-level junds like this, 46 major road bridges, 9 bridges and viaducts over rivers and canals, 8 railway bridges, and dozens of smaller bridges and large culverts with 24-foot spans. A tremendous construction job. On past road-making experience in this country, it would take years. Instead, the entire 55 miles of dual carriageway, 132 bridges, and 92 concrete culverts are due to be completed within 19 months. In the first 7 months, about £8 million worth of work had been completed. A remarkable achievement, which owes a lot to careful planning. Every operation was planned ahead down to the smallest detail. This tremendous task, involving the preparation of hundreds of programs and construction schedules, was carried out in a few weeks. New methods for higher efficiency, new machines for greater speed. The greatest mechanized army ever sent into action on a road project in Britain. £5 million worth of plant, 80,000 horsepower. Excavators, scrapers, mechanical shovels, rollers, bulldozers, compaction machines, piling equipment, concreting plant, hundreds of transport vehicles. All were deployed along the 55-mile front. Everyone concerned with this great adventure in civil engineering has been inspired with the sense of urgency and the magnitude of the task. In this, the Ministry of Transport, the consulting engineers, Sir Owen Williams and partners, and the contractors are all working together as a team. Modern equipment needs expert handling. Gone are the pick and shovel days. 4,000 men build the road. Skilled men, an average of only 70 to a mile. Work began in March, with 19 months to go. An enormous amount of preparatory work had to be done in the early stages. Over 100 miles of temporary fencing erected to mark the boundaries of the motorway. Forests had to be cleared, hedges swept away. To get the machines and materials onto the site, access roads had to be constructed. Diversion roads too, to keep existing highways open. 17 miles of new roads, in addition to the 55 miles of motorway. Traffic control points had to be established on existing roads where heavy machines and supplies were constantly moving across. Bailey bridges were thrown across rivers and canals and at points where the motorway crosses existing roads so that construction would not interfere with normal traffic. In many places, services crossing the road had to be dismantled and restored. Water mains, gas mains, telephones, electric cables, pylons had to be moved. Keeping an eye on progress. Supervision by helicopter reduced travelling time on the 55-mile route from days to hours. The whole pattern of progress could be seen at a glance. Tunnelling at a railway crossing. Excavation in a deep cutting. The beginning of a two-level junction. So far, only rough shapes in the earth. The birth of a motorway. The motorway was divided up into 4 main operating sections. For these and dozens of other construction offices along the 55 miles, 40,000 square feet of office accommodation had to be erected and a further 20,000 feet for stores. Headquarters at Newport Pagnell, the administrative centre for the project. After an inspection flight by helicopter, Project General Manager John Mickey, in charge of operations, and Chief Planning Engineer John Pymont go in to have a look at the earth-moving program. A big excavation job, this. Over 11 million cubic yards of earth had to be moved for levelling and forming deep cuttings and embankments. Soon, 72 rubber-tired scrapers and crawler tractors and 150 excavators were moving earth and rock at the rate of 500,000 cubic yards a week and more. Flaming June. The men on the motorway had another word for it. This sort of weather could play havoc with the schedule. Incredible floods, machines bogged down, everything slowing down to a standstill. Everything except time. Improvisation, a sense of urgency and responsibility, determination to see the job through, all combined to meet the grim challenge of this long freak summer, the wettest ever within the memory of most of us. In the face of difficulties like these, good communications are vital to speed and efficiency. In addition to helicopter, telephone and teleprinter services, shortwave radio is playing an important part in meeting emergencies and maintaining the flow of materials. Important too for a swift and effective spares replacement service, with hundreds of machines working against the clock under grueling conditions. A radio call to the main plant depot at Elstree rushes an urgent spare part by helicopter to the site. This and the highly efficient plant services on the site keep the wheels turning in this battle with time. All this mechanized equipment uses an enormous amount of petrol, diesel oil and lubricants. 120,000 gallons of fuel a week, enough to take 72 buses round the world. 2 leading oil companies have worked out new techniques for refueling machines on the site. Tankers and other vehicles take the fuel direct from the storage depots established on the site across country to any point on the road. Refueling is only a matter of minutes, saving thousands of hours over previous systems. After only 16 weeks of construction, the record of progress was remarkable. The tempo was mounting fast. Over 5 million cubic yards of earth, nearly half the total, had been excavated. Deep cuttings, embankments, and the motorway itself were now clearly defined. It was even possible to drive along sections of it, for work was already in progress on road construction. Most spectacular progress of all, perhaps, had been made in those first 16 weeks on the bridges and 2-level junctions. By that time, over 90 of the 132 bridges were under construction. Over 19 months, that's about 1 every 3 days. Railway bridges, over the motorway, under the motorway. River viaducts, bridges over canals, big bridges, dozens of smaller bridges, cattle creeps under the motorway to give access to farms, miles of drainage pipes and culverts, some as big as bridges. 92 of them cross under the motorway. And the huge two-level junctions, carved out in the earth like amphitheatres, with the slip roads at either side. One of the big bridge construction jobs on the motorway, a viaduct in two sections over the River Laing. One section will have 11 spans, the other 9, a wall and slab structure in concrete. Thousands of tons of reinforcing steel are being used in concrete for the bridges. British Railways are doing a splendid job, delivering the steel in varying sizes direct by truck to over 200 bridge and culvert sites along the motorway. Formwork is another important feature. It has to be constructed with great care and precision from the basic designs in a variety of flat and curved shapes and sizes. In all, over 500,000 square yards are being used for the bridges, viaducts and culverts. Huge quantities of concrete are used in the construction of the bridges and the motorway. There are 9 major batching plants like this in operation, each with a production target of 3,000 cubic yards a week. The most up-to-date methods of concreting are being used to speed up construction. The monorail on this bridge project is one system replacing the old-fashioned wheelbarrow routine which used to make this kind of job such a slow, laborious business. The speed of construction depends also on a steady flow of materials to the job. Every day, hundreds of lorries bring supplies to the construction points. Cement to feed the hungry batching plants. Thousands of tons of aggregate excavated each day from the gravel pits. Getting the right quantities there at the right time is the job of checker docorum. Once again, shortwave radio helps to speed the flow of material and meet the mounting demand. For by the autumn, not only bridge construction, but work on the road was proceeding at a rapid pace. The dual carriageway is being constructed with a 6-inch granular sub-base of stone, sealed against moisture with a layer of tar and grit. Over this, 14 inches of dry lean concrete granular base, then a 2.5-inch tar macadam course, and on top, an asphalt wearing course, all contained within reinforced concrete marginal haunches flush within the carriageways at each side. The central reserve between the two carriageways is filled in with topsoil and grassed. By the early autumn, 40 miles of marginal haunch had been completed, the sub-base laid on 22 miles of dual carriageway, and the concrete base on 7 miles. The panorama of progress unfolds itself. Practically all excavation has been completed, 132 bridges well underway, 92 culverts nearly finished. This one is 280 feet long with a 24-foot span. Luton's water mains pass through it underneath the motorway. The railway bridge under construction down there will carry the Luton-Dunstable line over the motorway. By tunnelling underneath, there is no interruption to the railway service and contractors' traffic can pass through freely. Chalk have been excavated in the deep cutting here. The concrete retaining wall on the right is over 600 feet long. The first two-level junction on the motorway, just south of Luton. Slip roads will lead to a roundabout constructed on the existing Luton-Dunstable road. The motorway will pass over this road on 2 bridges. flying northwest up the motorway towards Newport Pagnell, another two-level junction road. Slip roads will lead to a roundabout crossing the motorway on two two-span overbridges. Bridging a river. When completed, this viaduct will carry the motorway over the River Lovett. It's in three sections, one over a subsidiary channel, one over a flood relief channel, and one over the Lovett. Another viaduct over the River Ouse and its subsidiary channels. This viaduct will have 9 arches. Another of the 8 railway bridges under construction. This one will carry the motorway over the railway. A two-level junction with slip roads leading to a roundabout on the Stony Stratford-Northampton Road. The motorway will pass under the bridges here. The Northampton-Peterborough railway line runs alongside the Grand Union Canal here. 2 bridges are being constructed, one over the railway, another over the canal. The viaduct over the Nene, with the 20 spans which will carry the motorway over the river and its subsidiary channels. Roads, rivers, canals, railways. A bridge every half mile for 55 miles. The work goes on by day and by night. The men on the motorway are doing a fine job. The men with responsibility on their shoulders, the administrators, the project managers, the planners, the engineers, the men on the machines who keep the wheels turning in fair weather and foul. The men on the road, men of many nations in the Commonwealth. Women too, the typists, the telephonists, in the offices, in the canteens, in first aid on the sites. To everyone, this is a job worth doing well. Its successful achievement will make history, for this is something that has never been done in Britain before. Already it has proved 2 things: that the spirit of bold adventure, which can dare and do, is still very much alive, and that British civil engineering skill and workmanship are without equal anywhere in the world.